Hi, I'm Amy Henderson with the Georgia Municipal Association, and I am joined here today by Joyner, who is an actuary for the Siegel Company, which is the actuary for GMA's retirement system. We're going to talk a little bit about how to make decisions when it comes to your retirement plans for your city. Rocky, thank you for being here with us today. I know you go around to a lot of cities and talk to them about their retirement plans.
Correct.
And one of the things that you tell them that it's not just a financial decision that they're making, it's also a management decision. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Absolutely. What's happened in the recent years is because of the economic downturn, tax bases being lowered, everyone is focusing on the dollars and cents. Mm-hmm. Budgets are tight and it's an issue. But they have to be very, very careful not to make a short-term issue, a downturn in the economy, a long-term problem by doing things they wish they wouldn't have done 5 or 6 years from now. Mm-hmm. For example, looking at your pension plan, can you save money? Is it actually costing you what you want it to? Fair points. But in addition to that, as a city, as a water and sewer authority, your sole purpose, your only reason for existence is to supply services to the tax base. So you have to make sure that your plan works in conjunction with supplying the mission. And then long-term, short-term, just be careful what you ask for because you actually might get it. Okay. Changing the benefit structure of the retirement plan is not the only way you can actually reduce short-term issues on the budget. Because of the GMA funding policy, which we go out and explain to cities, mm-hmm. there's flexibility in there. If people ask, we can work with them on.
Oh, that's great. And you make the point, too, that your retirement plan can actually change the behavior of your workforce.
Yes.
Either for good or for ill. And that's
yes.
something that they need to be aware of.
Yes.
In what ways can it be changed?
Well, let's say you have a city and you're supplying fire service, police service, garbage pickup. Mm-hmm. Police officers, you want to retire earlier than, say, the librarian, mm-hmm. because just the nature of the work.
Right.
When you change your plan, you have the risk of changing the dynamics of your workforce. And there may be a reason to change it. Let's say your folks are staying on the job longer than expected, and you really would like the police officers to retire in their 50s rather than their late 60s. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have to put some money into the plan to offer that.
Also, there's some confusion, I think, among people about what the difference is between
yes.
a defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan. Can you
yes.
give us the basics, what the difference is there?
You need balance and you need diversity. You need the three legs of the stool. Social Security, the defined benefit plan from the employer, and a defined contribution plan, which is your personal savings. They have to work in tandem. Mm-hmm. So looking at the two types of plans, defined benefit plan. A defined benefit plan focuses on benefit security. It provides you a benefit that you cannot outlive. Defined contribution plan, on the other hand, the theory is if I give you a large enough pot of gold at the end of your working career, your problems are settled. 2008 has showed us that pot of gold might need right. to be quite large. Mm-hmm. And people have also shown a tendency to not quite use their pot of gold accurately.
Right.
And they run out of money much quicker. Mm-hmm. And so those are the issues involved in it, wealth versus security. And you need a little bit of both, mm-hmm. but you have to have balance.
Well, that is one thing I think I found interesting was that, the studies have shown that the defined benefit plan is more efficient
yes.
than the defined contribution. Why is that?
Threefold reasons. One, the defined benefit plan has a pooled longevity risk. What I mean by that is, if I get a group of employees, on average, they're going to die at age 82. Okay. Not everyone, but on average. So you can focus that on your funding and make sure you plan for that on average. Mm-hmm. That takes care of the person that lives to 90, takes care of the person that lives to 75. If you're in a savings account plan, like a 401A or 457, one person's in the plan. So if you prepare to live to 80 and take your money out like that, and for whatever reason you live past 80, suddenly you find you have no money. So in a defined contribution setting, you better plan to live to be 90 or 95. Mm-hmm. That lowers the monthly benefit, so it's not as efficient in providing the benefit. Two other factors are, one, professional management of the money. In a defined benefit plan, it is professionally managed by a board of trustees and professional money managers. In a defined contribution plan, the individual is in charge of the assets. And they sometimes do the Will Rogers thing of, I'd rather have the return of my money than return on my money.
Mm-hmm.
And so they focus on much more secure investments that really don't have any fluctuation. And then lastly, in a city, the workforce is always middle-aged. So you always can diversify. You always have an opportunity to plan for the future. For an individual, unfortunately, we actually age. And at some point, we will all be 75 or 80 if we're lucky. Mm-hmm. But that means you've got to finance and allocate the assets differently than you would if you were middle-aged.
And cities don't have to pick one or the other.
Correct.
They can do a plan that fits their particular needs.
Yes. What we've seen more recently are cities that come in and say, we got to get rid of the DB and move to a DC. Then you start doing the numbers, you start doing the factors, you start doing the pieces. Mm-hmm. They say, we really don't want to do away with all the security for the employees. What they're doing is they'll take the defined benefit plan, maybe reduce it to a slightly lower multiplier, but still a decent base benefit,
right.
Then add a defined contribution plan to the side that the city now matches and puts money in. So now you have all pieces of the stool going on, and everyone has a little bit of skin in the game.
Right, and again, it avoids that all your eggs in one basket
Absolutely.
Danger that you don't want to get involved in. Do you go out and talk to the cities when you look at their plans? Are you comparing their plans to like what the city next door is doing?
You have to be careful with that because each city has its own unique demographic and its own unique financial structure and setup. I mean, one city may have some financial resources another city doesn't have, and that allows them to do things differently. And cities have a different history. Some cities are newer. They've just started out. Mm-hmm. Some cities were founded in the 1830s, so they're a different dynamic for the cities. Right. Some are core cities. Some are suburban cities. So it's not one size fits all. Each city has to look at their own constituency and what they're after and focus on that. Now, looking at what other cities have done can give you ideas,
right?
But do not go into it wedded with something that says one size fits all and this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it doesn't necessarily fit.
And Rocky, if people want to get in touch with you, if they want you to come and talk to their city, to get more information, run some numbers for them, how do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
They should contact the GMA folks here, either Steve Durden or Randy Logan, and they will follow up. And we have probably met across the state with 30 to 40 cities already on these very issues. And we're more than happy to go to wherever you have in the state you want us to go.
Well, Rocky, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here with us today.
It's a pleasure, absolutely. Good to see you.
Thank you.